Welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last.
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Loaded Box Podcast. I am Ben. That is DJ. DJ, your team, you're 1-0. How did week one treat you? Obviously pretty well.
Yeah, it was all right. I expected more out of the offense, but it's the first week and defenses are always ahead of the offense, so good. I feel good.
Yeah, all in all, though, I mean, like, the entire day, I mean, you get up and you're just instantly ready for games to go, but, like, you just have that period of probably a couple of hours where you just have to, like, prepare yourself. Like, I know when it's the Dolphins playing, like, I legit, like, I almost tired myself out too much.
Yeah, I actually mowed the lawn this morning because I just needed to keep myself occupied.
You did. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, so I got up at like 9 or before 9, and I mowed the lawn at 9, did that, and then did my 2 hours of prep work, and I was ready to go. I was pumped. Once red zone starts counting down from about 2 minutes, you start to get a little bit of that chubby going, little shoves, a little boner, you start to feel it in your pants.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
The PGC, the pregame chub.
Yeah.
Nice, and this is the first time we've actually recorded a podcast right after the game, so we're going to do kind of like our quick hitters, our instant reactions to the games. So we might as well lead it off with the one that we're a little bit behind on. The Thursday night game, the Chiefs with the stunning upset on New England. Honestly, dude, when that game started, New England did the whole unveiling of the new Super Bowl banners. Everyone was going crazy. They had that first drive. They went down the field. They scored a touchdown. And then after that, I think they got the ball back somehow, and then they had a touchdown. But before it got called back, I said, dude, is the route on? And you said, no, not yet. And you were right, because the Chiefs ended up winning 42-27.
I took a sports psychology class back in college, and one of the things that I really sticks out in my mind is to not get, like, too pre-hyped before a game. Because once you reach that, like, maximum, you can only go down from there. And I heard that, like, takes away some of that adrenaline and some of that yourself at an even keel. I think that's why players. So that kind of, like, Super Bowl, getting everybody hyped, everybody's jacked, I think could take some energy out of you later in the game. So I think that's just one of the things that I took from a sports psychology class. But Kareem Hunt, special guy. He's my NFL comp for him. Not in the league anymore, but Arian Foster, he's not particularly fast, but he has that one cut, finds a hole, runs smooth, and he has the ability to make plays as a receiver out of the backfield. So I'm a big fan. One game already super high on him. Don't even care.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because he had that first carry. It was a good carry, but then he fumbled it.
Yeah.
And kind of like the old school mentality was, you fumble, you're out of the game, we're going to bench you for a while. But the Chiefs didn't do that, and thank God they didn't, right?
Yeah. You almost can't, because then you just get him out of the game, too. I mean, even if he comes back in, you bench him, his head's out of the game.
Yeah, you shake. Exactly. You shake his confidence, it's bad. What do you there's going to be some people out there who are going to hate us because of this game, because we gave some advice all offseason about Tyreek Hill and how we're both anti him, and then he has that bomb touchdown, and he had a couple other nice plays as well. So I don't know, man. Like, I think we take the L that week, but I still think, and we both talked about this, we're both saying that, at the end of the day, he's still not going to be that fantasy receiver you're going to want to rely on.
Nope. Because that's that big play that I'm talking about. He's going to get a couple of those.
Right.
Happened to happen in week one, and now everybody's like, oh, blah, blah. But the only thing I see out of that guy right now is that he can run really good in a straight line. His best plays were crossing routes where he runs straight and a fly route where coverage glued down and he runs straight. I feel better. I still feel okay.
Right. Like you said, he's going to have a couple of those plays, because we're not saying he's not good. We're just saying as a reliable fantasy option, I feel like you can do better. So, well, let's move on to Sunday's action. So we have
I love this.
Philadelphia beating Washington 30-17. Let's break it out, because I have a feeling you're going to say the same things I am about Kirk Cousins.
He is what I thought he was.
Yeah.
He's what I was saying before. The guy fucking sucks in the red zone. The team sucks in the red zone. He doesn't have chemistry yet with Terrell Pryor, nor do I know if he will. I didn't really get to see too much of that game as far as offensively, because they just weren't in the red zone, and I have the red zone channel on. But I don't know how healthy Crowder is, but they also can't run like what they. I think Cousins had 30 rushing yards, and so did Fat Rob.
I was going to say, I think Cousins probably led the team, and I think Fat Rob had like 10 carries for 30 yards.
Yeah, I think they both had 30 exactly. They need to get Samaje in there. I mean, they need some kind of spark, but they just, when they get to the red zone, they falter. They're struck. What did he throw? 3? How many interceptions did he throw? I forgot to put that down.
I know, I just closed that one up. But yeah, I know he had a couple interceptions, and I think he had the fumble early as well.
Yeah, it was just, I was excited to see it because it's kind of what I predicted. And I expect to see more of that just throughout the year. I love my bus pick so far.
Yeah, I didn't get to see too much of this game either. And one, I think they do need to run the ball more, but I just think it's Kirk Cousins who we saw last year again. He's going to throw for a good amount of yards, and the TDs really aren't going to come. And I don't know, maybe I think we might have been underrating Philly a little bit. I think their defense is pretty solid, and Wentz looked good once again. But just all in all, I feel like the Redskins are who, like you said, they are who we thought they were. And we're going to have this whole debacle again with Kirk Cousins next offseason about whether or not he's going to be franchise tagged. Is he going to get a long-term deal? He's like Ryan Tannehill. He'll flash some weeks. He'll make you think, well, he's my franchise. And then the next couple of weeks, it's like turnovers and inconsistent play and losing at home to a division team. Just things he can't do.
Exception in the red zone, and then that fumble that wasn't really a fumble.
Yeah. One game, the next one that we'll talk about here, Atlanta-Chicago. I watched quite a bit about this one. So Atlanta won by 6. My damn against the spread. Oh, it was. I know. My against the spread pick, I'm like, at some point, I'm like, you know what? Atlanta's going to pull away. I'm going to cover this spread, and then just nothing. So at the end there, when Chicago had the ball and basically inside the 5-yard line with 4 chances left, I was basically cheering for them. I just wanted to see the Bears pull off the upset. They weren't able to, but it was just interesting to see how that game played out because, obviously, like you said, they were a play away from winning that game.
Yeah, that was and fucking Jordan Howard, my guy, drops a touchdown, wide open, falling into the end zone, and so the guy.
Yeah, he turned his head like a half second too soon, man.
I was so angry. I was so angry about that. But my consensus in this, it's early again. Defenses are ahead of offenses, so I'm not going to think too much about Atlanta. But people are going to be, my thoughts, fantasy-wise, are people are going to be really high on Tyreek Cohen, and for good reason. He played well. But if you can buy Howard, if you're looking at someone who's looking to trade him, buy him, because this is his offense, and I think he's going to continue to get the ball and get a ton of carries, and you're not going to see many weeks like that from Tyreek Cohen. If you can suck Howard out of somebody, do it. That's my advice.
That's good. I didn't think about it from that angle. My angle was if you're on the waiver wires and Cohen isn't picked up yet, you should definitely get him. But I kind of like your idea better. The only thing that I still like is if he's available and if you have spot for him, I think you still should get Cohen because he's going to obviously spell Howard, but he was just as much of a threat as a receiver. He had 113 total yards and the touchdown. So in regards to this week, after week 1 waiver wire priority, he's probably my number 1 waiver wire guy if he's available in your league.
I got mine later.
Oh, nice. My favorite part from this game is when the Bears used Mike Glennon's long neck as a way to block the view of defenders in a wildcat. Did you see that?
I missed that. I had the whole game on my second TV, but
yeah.
Came back and forth. I don't know that I saw that.
I mean, typically when you run out of a wildcat, the quarterback split out, and you run away from the quarterback. The action goes the other way. They ran it towards his side, and Glennon was blocking, and his neck, I think, was taking the guy's eyesight away from where the ball carrier was. And it actually worked pretty well. I really liked that. My one criticism on Atlanta is, so Julio led the NFL in targets last year. This week, he gets 4 catches, 66 yards. He had a bunch right away. He had 5 targets. They didn't target him again in the second half.
Yeah, I was noticing that, and I was really getting pissed.
I limited how much stock I put in Julio this year for that reason. Ryan. Just because it pisses me off. Like he's still, God, he's still gonna have a good year, right? I mean, we can agree on that, but it's.
But I hate him.
Yeah, it is. It is frustrating. Well, let's keep her moving. We got Detroit with a hell of a fourth quarter, and they ended up putting 35 points up against the Cardinals' pretty legit defense. So they won 35-23. What's your quick hits instant breakdown on that one?
Well, Carson Palmer with the 3 interceptions. This was what I was worried about. I did predict him to do well. I wish I could take it back at this point. He is washed.
He looks old, doesn't he?
He is done. And this is why I was higher on Bell than David Johnson.
Yes.
I know David Johnson did go out of the game with an injury, so we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
this is why I was higher on Bell, because the offense, and I'll get to Bell later. I know people will probably be like, oh, Bell didn't have a good day. Well, there's a lot more than that to it.
For sure.
David Johnson worries me because of the production of Carson Palmer. I mean, he was awful. He was bad. He's done. The other side, the Lions, this is my guy. My hot commodity, Kenny Galladay. I think I'm going after him.
Oh, waiver wire
A lot
style?
of waiver wires there. He's one I'm going afterwards. I'm telling everybody right now, I'm putting a lot of money on this guy. I'm going to try to get him. 69 yards and 2 touchdowns, and one of those touchdowns was just all out.
Oh, that was
diving.
sick.
Beautiful catch. Guy, the great route runner. Chad Johnson said before the season this guy's going to be good. Looks like he's right. I like how this guy runs routes. I wasn't super high on him because people are talking about him in the preseason, but seeing him do it in an actual regular season game was pretty impressive, especially against that Cardinals defense.
Right, especially against them. Yeah.
And Stafford's probably on his way to another MVP type season.
You want to know what pisses me off about that Galladay? 3 out of 5 leagues I own him. Sat him in all of them.
Did you?
Sat him in every single one.
Yeah. Marvin Jones had a pretty good week too, and
He
I had
did.
him on the bench as well.
Yeah. I was Galladay, he's going to be a tough start sit for people moving forward. Like you said,
Yeah,
he
he
had
is.
2 touchdowns, 69 yards, and he's playing with Stafford, who obviously is going to take chances and air it out. So he's definitely not one of the receivers that you picked up right away high in your actual draft. And if you're picking him up on waiver wires, obviously you thought higher of other people than you did of Galladay right away. But that's going to be a tough call right away, and I'm not really looking forward to it because I don't know, in some of those leagues I'm kind of stacked at receiver, but I feel like an idiot if he's going to keep scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
Probably the worst game on the schedule today. And unfortunately, I don't know what it was, but the Red Zone channel for DirecTV anyway seemed to show an awful lot of it. And it was the Jaguars versus the Texans. Jaguars stomped them, man. And how about this? Yeah. This was your prediction. Didn't you say Jacksonville?
This is my bold prediction. Yeah, you said bold prediction. I said Jaguars beat Houston in Houston.
And they did, 29-7.
Playoff team last year. Yeah.
You want to know what I think about this game?
What do you think?
I honestly think both these teams still suck.
I know, but the Jaguars are obviously less sucky than the Texans.
Yes, obviously they just proved it. But the thing is, Jacksonville won this game by 22 the exact way that you said that they would have to. They would need to run the ball. They ran for 155, and they needed to limit the pass to make it effective. They only passed for 125 yards. That is not going to work against a team that has an offense who doesn't pull their quarterback at halftime.
Are you there? Okay, sorry, I got you. So the other thing was their defense was just incredible.
Fantastic.
And I know both you and I are high on them. Savage, you know what? Savage may have sucked, but it seemed like everybody was. I mean, he sucked. He did. There's no. But it seemed like guys were getting at him every 5 seconds, anyways. So
they had 10 sacks, I think.
Oh my God, it was incredible.
10 sacks.
And Calais Campbell had 3.5 sacks at one point by himself.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. So you got a guy hitting you every 5 fucking seconds. You're probably going to suck too.
Yeah, exactly. The offensive line for Houston, no matter who the quarterback is going to help that out.
You hit on what I want to say. Fournette, I think, is a real deal. They're going to feed the shit out of him all year.
Right.
100 yards of the touchdown, 26 carries. You can just keep expecting him to get shit ton of fucking carries.
Yeah,
looks
good
like
debut.
a powerful runner.
Good debut.
What?
Good debut.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is 2 of the top 3 running backs this week were rookies.
Right. Well, it was the hyped up class, and hopefully they're doing it. And then we still have Cook and I would say Kamara tomorrow, but I think he's going to be pretty limited. But Cook could have
Delvin,
he could feast as well. I do want to hit on my bold prediction for the week because I feel like I really put it in the trash.
Yeah, what was that? I don't remember.
My Lamar Miller going for 130 and 2 touchdowns was straight trash, homie.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to
Yeah.
I want to say sorry to anyone who used him because I had him in FanDuel as well.
I don't know about Lamar Miller going forward.
That offensive line needs to improve. Otherwise, it's going to be a long year again.
It's going to be a long. I put in my notes here. DeAndre Hopkins is the only guy worth having at this point.
Oh my gosh, probably.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the battle of the bottom dwellers of the AFC East, or what we're at least expecting. Dude, the Dolphins haven't even lost yet.
Yeah, well, Buffalo's undefeated and they're first in the division.
Well, Miami's second by themselves.
There you go.
So yeah, your Bills and Tyrod won by 9 today against the Jets. What do you think about the performance?
Tyrod Taylor scores above 15 points again, being the most consistent quarterback besides Aaron Rodgers, top rating in the league. Just fantasy-wise, just continues to score. You know what? He was available in one of my leagues. Actually, I'm playing against you, where I used Andy Dalton, and he was available on the free agent player, and I wish I would have just drafted Tyrod Taylor and not even thought about that stupid red fucking headed 1 point. I'm never playing him again.
I'm in a league where I also
because Jameis Winston.
Right. Oh, that's very true. Yeah, I went up against Dalton in another league where Dalton finished with -3 points.
You had to face Dalton in 2 leagues.
I know, isn't that great?
Yeah, still gonna lose.
I know the other guy that got -3 out of him texted me and said I should have used Andrew Luck.
Oh my god, oh my god, I hate what happened. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I don't have much on this Bills-Jets game.
Yeah, me neither.
My one question would be, is Mike Tolbert going to be this year's Gillislee, where McCoy gets all the yards and then he comes in and just takes that touchdown?
It might be.
I think.
Well, and they were just struggling to score on the ground, so it's kind of tough for McCoy because they're so tough up front, the Jets.
That's true.
So it's tough. It probably won't continue to happen like that. I think McCoy will have other opportunities against teams that aren't the Jets, but that's the only thing that they're good at. So
yeah, I think in a 12 team, I think you can do better than Tolbert, but in like a 14 or 16 team league, I wouldn't mind taking a look at Tolbert if he's out there.
Yeah,
because I think just that sheer chance that he is going to get that a little bit of goal line work, and if he is kind of in that Gillislee role, because I think Gillislee had like 6 touchdowns last year, and if you're getting that out of your worst running back in a 14 or 16 team league. That might be a guy for you to target as well on the waiver wire.
Yep.
Let's move on to the most intriguing early game for me, anyways. It's the one that
I love this one.
Yeah, I had it on my. I had one screen on Red Zone. I had the other screen on Oakland and Tennessee. So I saw the majority of this one. Oakland took it by 10, 26-16, I believe it was.
Yep.
I want to lead this one off by asking you, do you support teams that open games with onside kicks? Because Tennessee did it, and I loved it right away. I'm like, dude, that's a great tone setter. But then Oakland scored on that first possession.
That's what I was going to say. Not when you're playing an offense as lethal as Derek Carr and the Raiders. Not at all.
No.
Because then they're going to fucking score on you immediately, and you give them that momentum. We're playing against the goddamn Rams or the Niners or something in the first game of the season, throw one out there. I think maybe that's what they're trying to do is set a tone, but I don't think it's very smart against a team like the Raiders.
See, I would almost go the other way with that, though. Like, I would, if you think that you're maybe at a disadvantage against a team with a high-powered offense, maybe try to. Yeah, but you can steal a possession this way if you get it. Whereas if you're playing a bad team, and instead of saying the Rams, I'm going to say the Colts. Yeah. If you're playing the Colts, pin those fuckers back and make them work for their touchdown.
No, you're at home and you think the expectations and your expectations of yourself is that you're going to be a very good team and a playoff team. Why come out and put yourself at a disadvantage right away? Play some football.
Yeah, like I liked it right away just for the entertainment purposes of it.
So dumb. Even when I thought they had it, I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that a lot of the people who were bad talking Oakland all offseason on Twitter they're the same people that are talking up Tennessee, and now Oakland rolls into Tennessee and wins by 10.
Yes, I love it, and that's exactly what I was going to hit on. Everyone's so high on the Titans. And I picked the Raiders in my regular season predictions to win this game.
Yep, me too.
This Raider offense, what?
Me too. I'm with you.
Yeah, this Raider offense is and will be scary good all year long.
Right.
I don't know. Marshawn looks good.
He does.
I mean, they're good all around.
Yeah, Marshawn looked better than I thought he would.
Yeah, and their defense is really impressive. I mean, it's really impressive against that Titans offense, which everybody expected. more out of in that first game, especially since the Raiders struggled and were really bad last year.
Yeah.
They held them to only 16 points. So
right.
I think that's a good tone setter for that Raiders defense this year.
Especially on the road. And then I still like Tennessee. I remember when we were going through our regular season long predictions that I had Tennessee for the longest time kind of floating around 500. And it wasn't until the end of the year where I think I got them up to that 10-win mark. So I kind of expect maybe a slow start from Tennessee. So I'm not off of Tennessee. I don't mean it in that sense by any means. I still think they're a solid team. But that rookie receiver, Corey Davis, was on him all offseason. He had no preseason, very limited training camp. He looked good, though. He had 69 yards on 6 catches, and he led the team with 10 targets. So they're already feeding him, man.
That was the one thing I was going to, as far as fantasy-wise goes, like who's going to be the top wide receiver for Tennessee? Is it going to be Decker? Is it going to be Rashard Matthews? Is it going to be Corey Davis?
Yeah.
Taylor got some action in there.
Yeah.
Chemistry will build, and there'll be a picture. You'll see more clear picture as the year goes on. So I think that'll be interesting to see how that shapes out. I honestly expect Decker to kind of roll into that, but you never know.
Yeah, and what I saw today again out of Rashard Matthews is just an underrated, consistent player. The dude just goes in, he catches almost everything that's in his vicinity, and he makes contested catches, big body. He's not going to overwhelm you with one thing, but he's going to get the job done. He's a great fit in that offense, in my mind.
Good red zone target, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the worst game. Because, man, I bet on the damn Bengals, and they were favored by 3. It's hard to cover the spread when you don't score any points. It's almost impossible.
Oh, my God, I'm pissed.
Yeah?
I'm pissed.
Dude.
I'm just embarrassed, if anything. This is, wow. I mean, this is people can talk shit to me about this one because I just have to sit and take it.
I think that the Bengals have instantly jumped upon the top of my list of teams not to bet on in 2017.
Yeah, I hate them. I just went from loving that team to hating them.
Dalton had 5 turnovers.
Oh, I hate him.
Like, I know some of them weren't always his fault, but 5 turnovers at home.
Some of them were.
Oh, absolutely they were.
I was over here screaming like this is my team. Like, you fucking idiot. What are you doing? Like, what is happening out here?
Yeah. The only waiver wire recommendation maybe from this game is Javarius Allen. If Woodhead ends up missing time, I didn't catch an update on his hamstring, but hamstrings are terrible for offensive skill players.
Yeah, he'll be out. He'll probably be out in a couple of weeks if I had to make some bet on it.
Yeah. So, if you're thin at running back, I would look at Allen because he ended up finishing with 21 carries. He only had 71 yards, so it wasn't an impressive yards per carry, but he ended up with 2 more carries than Terrence West. So there's probably something there.
Yeah.
Well, another game that really pissed me off for several reasons was Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Cleveland hung in there. They only lost by 3. So I think you wanted to talk a little bit more about Le'Veon.
I have a bit to say about this. Le'Veon clearly needs to be getting more than 4 carries in the first half and 10 total. Like, is that a joke? It's Le'Veon Bell. But when the more I thought about this, the more I relaxed, it seemed kind of like an ease him back into the flow. Didn't play any preseason game.
Yep.
So not give him many carries and just ease him back into it. I think next week you're going to see those carries shoot up from the 10 to the 30 range. And not just carries, but
total touches.
You can probably have 5 to 10 targets in the passing game. Because this game alone showed how important he is to this offense and to this team. And he's going to get paid after that.
Do you think that was part of like the message? Maybe it's like, well, you didn't.
I thought maybe
no training camp, no preseason. Maybe. We're gonna not like feature you right now.
But it backfired.
Fuck yeah, it did.
And I love it. And Roethlisberger continues to suck on the road.
What is that? There's got to be more to it than that. Like Cleveland is and Pittsburgh, like it's the same thing this time of year. There's nothing.
I don't get it. I can't buy it. I had Martavis Bryant. You had Martavis Bryant, and he couldn't fucking do anything.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about that, man. Antonio Brown was the one star that emerged from that.
Well,
man.
Obvious.
Well, dude, that guy is a monster. Can you still honestly stand behind your Martavis Bryant can rival him talk? Because
dude, he was wide open down the sideline one time, and Roethlisberger just flat out overthrew him. It's like he doesn't even like the guy.
shit, I must have missed that. But
Oh, he had like an 80-yard touchdown easy.
that just upsets me even more now about that game.
Yeah, he just sucks on the road. I just can't watch him. And then Deshaun Kaiser was interesting to me. I don't know how much you saw that game, but did you see his interception to T.J. Watt?
Yeah, I did see that.
He was standing there for an hour with nobody anywhere near him, and then he threw it directly to him.
That was kind of the thing with Kaiser. Like, people are like, he kind of throws some dumb balls every once in a while.
That wasn't even a dumb ball. That was just, I don't even know. It was inept. It was retarded.
Yeah.
I couldn't even handle that.
Go ahead.
As far as fantasy-wise on this Browns offense, I'm super high on Corral, and I was high in there, and he needs to get more carries. Hugh Jackson said he's going to give him more carries. I think Kaiser threw the ball upwards of 33 times.
Yeah.
Throwing that much.
Yeah, they need to kind of treat it like they need to kind of treat that like how you want Jacksonville to do it with Bortles and Fournette.
Best offensive line in the league, run the ball Corral. I mean, Kaiser was getting hours back there to throw. Those guys can block, but he's just not ready. You need to have him hand the ball to Corral and then make simple throws out of play action.
Right. And I got to see a decent amount of that game, and I watched a ton of Pittsburgh last year because I had Roethlisberger in a big league. So, dude, I just want to hype up Antonio Brown even more, though. Like, what doesn't this guy do? He can take a short pass, and he just slithers his way around people, and then he's faster than everybody. And then today he had a jump ball against two guys. He's not tall at all. He goes up there and he just owns it. Like most complete. Like, he was obviously my wide receiver one, and I would have taken him. I didn't get him in any leagues this year, but for how talented Julio, Beckham, all these guys are, man, Antonio Brown continues to make that case as like your number one receiver.
Yeah, he works harder than everybody else.
He does. Oh, one last thing on this game for waiver wire. Maybe Jesse James. I'm not as high on this one. Because
streaming tight ends.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Like,
I'm never going to sit here and tell you a tight end off the waiver wire. Unless it's like week by week, I'll sit there and tell you next week, but I'm not going to be Jesse James after this last week. I'm not going to do that.
No, and I think the only way you would do it, like you said, is if you are streaming tight ends or if you're super weak, because at some point Bell, Brown, and Bryant are going to dominate. So you can't expect, I think he had 6 catches, 41 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You can't expect that every week.
Yeah, the same with that Austin Hooper in the Falcons game we didn't talk about. He's not going to fucking be wide open every time and have an 88-yard touchdown. Yeah,
I was actually going to bring that up too earlier. I totally forgot to because that's just how lucky Atlanta was to even win that game. What a fluky play to score that last touchdown on.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Yeah. So in our daily fantasy lineups this week, I know we didn't really go too much into the defenses we took, but I took the Rams defense, and man, did I love that.
Yeah, I think I can't remember. I took Buffalo's defense.
So you probably did okay.
Not as good, but still pretty solid.
Yeah, Jacksonville and the Rams this week, man. That was yeah, those Rams, man. 46 points I just saw on NBC here. It's like the most points they've scored in an opener since like TVs were black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the Rams and Jared Goff?
Goff looks good. I know it was the Indianapolis defense, but he still looked. I mean, it's still an NFL defense, right? He looked on point. He's throwing a great spiral. He's accurate. Louis Riddick predicted he was going to have a great year. I might believe that at this point. I would consider grabbing him if you have Andy Dalton.
That's a great, yeah. If you have Dalton, man, you should try to make a play on Goff.
I'm just gonna rip Dalton the rest of the fucking year. I don't care if he plays awesome.
I like it, man. I'm with you. My big takeaway from this game is don't watch the Colts games. Don't. And not
until Andrew Luck comes back.
Exactly. And what you should
Andrew
do.
Luck is MVP.
Already, hands down.
Yeah.
And you need to target using the Colts opponents as the defenses that you use.
Oh my God.
In either DFS or if you're streaming Ds. Target
streaming the fuck out of those Ds.
Target the Colts opponents until Luck gets back because man, that's just easy at that point.
All right.
Next one in line here. Panthers almost shut out the Niners 23-3. What do you think about that?
It's an interesting one because it feels like they didn't play that well, Carolina. I'm worried about Cam Newton. I mean, he was woefully woefully inaccurate. So something isn't right.
Yeah.
He had, who was the tight end? 84, I don't know who it was. Wide open, running down this, I don't even know. There was nobody around him. He was just running down the ocean. And he overthrew him by like 20 yards. Right out of the end zone.
My thoughts and analysis on Cam Newton has always been he'll be a good quarterback in this league as long as his arm doesn't give out because he's such an upper body thrower. So I think with that shoulder injury, I think it's screwing with him, and I think that might be the reason.
He's throwing everything so high, and maybe that's what it is. He's trying to throw it much harder than he should be. I don't know.
Yeah. I think as long
he's overthrowing everyone.
Agreed. And I think what would help him, too, is keeping Jonathan Stewart and McCaffrey rolling. To keep those rolling, and I think Newton will be fine. But I think if you're going to rely on Newton too much, then I think you're fine. Dude, I was thinking about this, too, and I'm sure it's fairly obvious to a lot of people, but Carolina and Tennessee, they're kind of like a mirror image of each other, except for I give Carolina an edge on defense. But just the way,
seven.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just the way that they're built, I really think that there's a lot of similarities between the two. But what an eye opener for Kyle Shanahan. I mean, how's it feel now to play without Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Freeman, Coleman, all these studs? He goes where they were averaging over 30 points per game, like 37 at home, whatever it was, and he scored 3.
They're still bad. They're just bad. They're still bad. They're still really bad.
Yeah, it's going to be a time. It's going to take some time.
Them and the Jets, I think. Them, Jets, and the Colts without Andrew Luck are the worst teams.
Yeah, through week 1 anyways. I mean, we're all about not having too many, like, overreactions. But this is an instant reaction podcast.
No, that's just a fact.
We have to have a take. Yeah, we have to have a take.
Yeah. I don't even know if that's a take. It's like it seems pretty obvious in general.
Well, let's
kind
go
of
on.
what we predicted going into the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, I forgot to say this is Jay Stu's world, and McCaffrey's just living in it.
You know what I have to say about that?
What?
So McCaffrey fumbled, but I'm gonna go right back to Kareem Hunt. He fumbled too. They didn't take him out. They're gonna put the faith in him. Did you see McCaffrey and the running backs coach hugging it out on the sideline? They're like, "Yep, just wrap it up." You'll be getting 20 plus carries a game in no time. Not carries, but touches. Yeah, but at one point he was gonna have Spencer Ware.
Yeah, he was going to, but Jonathan Stewart is there.
Well, you know it's a matter of time before Stewart hurts an ankle.
Oh, that's what they all think.
What's your? I thought for sure at some point I would hear your Green Bay Packers.
No, I didn't bring anything up.
Horn right now. It's just right before we started talking about it. I thought I would hear like a Go Pack Go or whatever that song was you were playing last time.
No. Oh, he's short. He's short. Okay, sorry.
Your TV's ahead of mine. We're watching the Cowboys Giants. Green Bay won by 8. What do you think about the resident Packers fan here? Do you like that win? Are you a little bit underwhelmed?
Well, obviously, I mean, 2 of the best teams in the NFC predicted here, and then they have to go play Atlanta next week. So three of the best predicted teams they have to be. I don't know. I guess playing in the last 2 weeks, but I'm good with the win. The first drive was going well until that weird interception he threw.
Yeah.
Just something you couldn't predict. The guy jumps up and somehow catches that ball. He was picking him apart. Aaron Rodgers is was picking him apart, not worried. He's going to light it up. It's going to be fine. What I'm going to talk about is the Seattle offensive line. They are fucking trash.
Yeah, that was bad news.
They are just garbage. Garbage.
9 points against Green Bay was shocking to me.
Yeah, this is why I'm so low on them, because they can't stop me from inserting my dominance into them. Like, they are bad. That offensive line, Russell might die this year.
Dude, agreed.
They couldn't stop Nick Perry.
Oh, I know. Well, from the jump, man, Nick Perry on that one play just shoved that lineman. Oh, it was terrible.
Just trucked him like twice in a row.
Dude, my takeaway from this game is that if I was a Packers fan, I'd actually be really happy. I mean, you want more than 17 points out of an offense like that, but Seattle's defense is still really legit. And the fact that they held Seattle to 9 points, where it's not like Seattle's some offensive juggernaut, but they can put up points. And if there was going to be a weakness for the Packers this year, it was going to be on defense. And you just held an opponent to under 10 points.
The thing with that is the D-backs were helped completely by the fact that they were just constantly hitting Russell Wilson when he was throwing. Like, they didn't have to cover. They there was guys constantly coming after
Right.
Daniels, so I'm going to be interested to see. Or Russell Wilson. So there was guys like Mike Daniels and Nick Perry constantly hitting Russell Wilson. I'm interested to see how those D-backs actually hold up against a team that can actually block. So I'm not going to say anything right now.
Yeah, I don't want to overreact too much on that. I did want to ask you, so I watched the majority of that game, and when they did drop back to pass, when it wasn't like a quick, I got the ball and I'm going to throw it right away on a quick slant. Rodgers was like running for his life, just ducking people in and out of the pocket. He moves the pocket well as anyone can, which is good, so he can get away with that. But is that because they were playing against Seattle, or are there some question marks maybe with that offensive line?
Well, it's a combination of two things, and you probably wouldn't know because you weren't a Packer fan. It's the fact that they're playing against Seattle.
Yep.
They have the ability to get through, but also Brian Bulaga was not active.
That's right. I forgot Bulaga wasn't playing.
Their backup right tackle was in there, so that helps. That hurts. That hurts a lot, actually. So, I mean, that's why you saw Cliff Averill run free around the edge earlier in the game, got a sack. Rodgers is going to move the pocket no matter what. The wide receivers were kind of struggling after that first drive to get open for a while there. But I'm not worried. I feel good.
Good.
It always takes them a little bit to get together, so the fact that they beat Seattle in the game one is a really good thing. And if they're just going to get better and better and eventually be unstoppable, I'm not worried.
My biggest takeaway is we're both undefeated. My team hasn't lost. Your team hasn't lost.
Congratulations.
We're good. How do you grade yourself on your NFL watching for week one? How did you do?
Well, it was a tough one because Braylon makes it hard.
Braylon's your child, by the way.
My son makes it hard because for the first 30 minutes, I was chasing him around, feeding him lunch while my wife was out doing groceries, and then I finally got to put him down for the nap. And then I locked in. So, for 30 minutes, it was probably a C.
Oh.
I was watching back and forth and running around. I put in an A effort, I can tell you that.
That sounds like that's awesome. That's like the kid fighting for a grade with the teacher right there. Well, I got a C. I gave an A effort, though.
Yeah, I did. And after that, I was locked in all over the place. So I was easily an A for week one, focused on everything. I had the computer on, checking the fantasy, seeing how the stats go. I was locked in.
Did you HT? Did you halftime tug?
No, there's no time with Red Zone. There is no halftime. I couldn't even poop.
That is true. That's more of a casual game watching type thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give myself a B+. What I learned, I need to learn my remote better. I got the new DirecTV remotes, and I need to learn where the previous channel button is. There was a few times I got lazy. There was a commercial on. I need to improve there. That's some self-criticism. There's no need to be watching a commercial when you have every single game.
Never.
On the plus side, though, I did watch a lot of football. I had wings, pizza, potato skins. So there's some positives I can build on.
Oh, and I had a layout of Chinese food. That vaulted up to maybe an A+. Yeah.
You can't give an A+ if you already gave yourself a C in the first half.
I didn't even think about it. My remote game, you mentioned so many things. My remote game was on.
Was your remote game on?
Switching back and forth.
That's clutch.
I was feeling it. So, I don't want to go too far into this, but I had one TV on Red Zone, so I made sure to shut off the TV and turn it back on because my remote works for both TVs. And so that if I hit last, one TV wouldn't change, but the other one would go back and forth. I had that locked in before it even started.
Nice. That's an A+ preparation effort right there.
Yeah, that was clutch right there.
My issue right now, though, is my remotes are identical. So I don't have an L or an R on them for left and right. So I need to improve on that as well.
Yeah, I just use the same one.
Yeah, mine don't do that. I got to do two different ones. But
yeah.
All in all, you're giving yourself an A. I'm going to be a little harder on myself. I'm going to go B+. But that's all.
I'll have down weeks. Don't worry.
That's all I got. So we'll wrap this one up, and then we'll be back again later in the week to bring some more against the spread picks, some more daily fantasy lineups, general audience, listener, start sit fantasy football questions. So if you have any, find us on Twitter @LoadedBox. And yeah, hope you enjoyed week one as much as we did, and we'll talk to you here pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Football's back.
Bye.
Bye.